Hi friends, Namaskar. Welcome to our YouTube channel Nymph and Nilambo. My name is Somnath Pal and today we are going to see soil, the importance of soil in growing water lilies and lotuses. So there are a lot of questions from many customers and there is a lot of photos of the plant is not growing well and they have used a lot of things and it still upon person to person like they feel their plants are growing very well. But when we see the plant, when we see the pictures, we realize the plant is actually not very happy and they could be much happier. And most of the reasons when we find out are just three basic things. One is soil, the second is sunlight, and third is definitely water. So this the success of growing a good water lilies and good lotus is it stays in these three things. If you do these three things very well, you can grow water lilies very easily. So today we one of the things we are going to learn is the importance of soil and which soil you need to use to grow a good water lilies and lotus. So different part of India has a different kind of soil available, and we have learned in the geography that every soil has a kind of different compositions, different yeah. So if you go into mountains, if you go into hilly place, you will find soils which are light in contents. Those soil will be very light in content, and those are very good to grow. Maybe those soil you can use to grow terrestrial plants like roses and other plants. If you go into a desert, you will find a lot of sand. If you go into beach, you'll find a lot of sand. Now sand has a different property. Sand can dry very well easily, so it can be used in a medium where the medium cannot be need to be very wet. So we can use in adenium, we can use in many other plants where the medium needs to be very dry. So these are different soils, and every soil has a different properties and they have a different benefits. So when we go and come to water lilies, there are many soils many people uses. So North India uses a different soil. When you go to West Bengal, the northeast part of India, they uses a different soil as per the availability. When you go on the Maharashtra, the Sahyadri, they have a different hilly soils, and when you go to the south of side, South India, they mostly have red soil there. And some part of India has also black cotton soil available. So many soils are available and people are doing water lilies as per the availability. But let me tell you one thing, the availability is okay, you can grow water lilies as per the availability, but you should also learn that which is good and which is you should use in. So today we are going to see we have two soil now here with us. This is the red soil, you can see this is red soil. This is how the red soil looks when it is dry. This is a clay soil. So many people ask me how the clay soil does look. So this is the clay soil. This has been very hard now. It is dried, and once it is dry, it is it becomes very dry. Now if I keep them again in full sun for a few more days, they will have crack and develop in them and they will turn into very small pieces. So see different properties in different soils as we mentioned. So you can see here this clay soil is very hard when they dry, but when you put them in water, they become. We will see in the next step how this turns out when you keep them in water. So these two soils. Let me tell you a few things about this soil. Is this red soil is found in mountains. So when you go into mountains, you will find a lot of red soil. These are very light in content. If you just hold this weight, this soil, this will be light in content compared to the clay soil. And when you put the water in the soil, it still stays soil light, because mountains have been made in such a way that if there is a lot of rainfall, the water will not stay in the soil, the water will drip down. So it has a good drainage system in that. So you can use this soil for plants which needs a good drainage, so where the water should not stay in and so red soil are mostly used for roses, for many other terrestrial plants where you don't have to need a lot of wetness in the soil and they can dry very easily. So red soil is one of those soil which can be very used for roses and many other terrestrial plants. And they are not hard. Even when they get wet, their property stays very light. So they are always very light. You can always feel very light in them. They're very easy to remove also when once they are wet. Compared to red soil, we have clay soil here now. Once they get wet, they become very sticky, become very loamy. So this soil has a different property. Now, if you put something in this soil, if you put once this soil is wet, it will take a lot of time for this soil to dry. It will take a lot of time for them to dry. The second is the aeration, the drainage will not be good in such soil. If you use this soil bucket full, and if even if you have hole, still the water will not come out. The water will still stay in and hold. That is the reason many of the pond, natural pond in Kolkata, in West Bengal, which we referred as bill, bill, if I'm not mistaken, bill. They have been made out of clay soil. They have not used any pond liner or anything. Just this clay soil. They make this hole. They make the hole. They just dig the hole and they just keep water, and then water stays in. It does not dry. So because of the property of this soil, the water stays in. Now, if you understand the property itself, you will understand why the water lily preferred clay soil more over the red soil. Because clay soil is very sticky, it holds nutrition. Since this holds water well, it does not leach and it is very tight in content. It is very thick in content. So even if you feed any kind of nutrition, if there is any nutrition available in this soil, so this soil nutrition will not leach out in water. Once this pot you put in the water, the nutrition will stay intact with the soil. It will not lose the nutrition. The soil will not lose the nutrition because this soil is made out of pond. This soil is from natural pond. This soil is found in plain land of West Bengal, of the UP, the North, and Bihar and the other part of country, or even your pond. You must be having this clay soil. But compared to your clay soil, if you see the red soil, it is not found in ponds or natural water bodies. Where it is found in mountains, and mountains are not made for water lilies. They are made for plants which does not need a lot of water, where the drainage system is good, where the water does not stays in and it just leaks out and comes out. So this is why the red soil is always light in content, and this is why this is not suitable for water lilies. What happens is this soil, when you put in water, and if there is any nutrition available in soil, that nutrition will leach out in water, and that will be one of the reason why you have more algae. If you grow two plants in two different pots, one with red soil and the other with the clay soil or even the black cotton soil or any loamy soil which is available with you, you will see the difference will be the red soil, the pot with red soil, the water lilies with red soil will always have more algae. So one of the reason of having a good more algae is soil, definitely. This second is your plant will have difficulty in holding the nutrition or to holding the roots in such soil. So even the seeds, if the seeds naturally drop in such pots, it will be very difficult. It will be very difficult for the seeds, for the seedling, for the plants to develop the roots to hold on such soil because they are very light in content and they can quickly come out. Compared to this, the clay soil is so sticky that if the seeds drop in, the water lily seeds drop in, even the lotus seeds have drop in, it will not let the plant go. Even a small root can hold themselves in such soil. So this is why the plant has a lot of survival instinct, and one of those is how to establish themselves, how their seeds can float and go in some other way, and then they can develop roots and they can come up. That is why in natural water bodies, it's very easily that one water lily spreads a lot because they are into an optimal climate and atmosphere where it is suitable for them to grow and expand. But the same we need to duplicate when we try to grow water lilies and lotus. But what happens is we try to do as per the convenience and as per the availability, and there where the problem comes in. There you can see a lot of plant which is not healthy, they are not happy, and they comes in because tropical water is a very easy to grow, they can still come in flower. So many people will still say that they still get a lot of bloom in red soil and they can still see healthy soil, healthy plants. But you grow plant in clay soil and you see that how what is mean to have a good plant. The plant leaves will become very huge, they will be very massive, they look very happy, the flower blooms very good and very good in size. So it's not that just flowering should be a parameter for you to judge that the plant is happy or not. The plant size should always be very large, they should be very huge. If you grow plant in this size, oh, sorry, the phone just dropped in from my hand. So if you try to grow plant in such clay soil, you will always see the difference that the plant comes in very well and very quickly. They establish themselves very well and very rapidly, and the growth rate is twice or thrice maybe compared to any other soil. So this is one of the soil. Now let me put some water and show you how the properties changes when you put the water and what we need. So here we have some water. I will put that water in red soil because it's very difficult for a clay soil to melt or to soft to absorb water and quickly. So it will take a lot of hours, 2 hours, 3 hours for them. So we already kept a ready clay soil which were wet. So it is easy for me to show you. So for now we will show you if you put water in the red soil how the properties changes and how they look like. See how fast and how quickly it is absorbing the water. This shows their properties. The same way they can leach out too. If a soil can quickly take in the water, they can quickly take out the nutrition also. So this is the property we are not looking at. This is the soil property. Now just imagine a water lily seeds in such pot, and if you want to remove the plant, in fact the plant will itself leave this pot, this soil. If it's very difficult for the plant to hold such soil. You see the property, it's, yeah, not sticky, there's no stickness. This is not loamy soil. This soil is good. uh, this pot has no holes, so the water is still staying in. If I have used a pot with holes, the water would have quickly came out from the bottom. So that is where the red soil is not good for water lilies. Now let me show you the clay soil which is wet. So this is the clay soil. You see this soil, when I put them in water like this, like they are into pieces, big pieces, and they were very heavy, they were very hard. So when I put them in water, after a few hours to 1 to 2 days, they are now like this, and you see they are so loamy. See, stickness. You can make clay balls now from this. See, this you can see balls. It's possible with them. Now this soil will take a lot of time to absorb the water, and when they absorb the water, it will still again take a lot of time for them to drain out that water. So such soils are very good for water lilies because the nutrition will always stays in, and the plant will get 100% of the nutrition which is available in soil. So even if you don't use any amount of vermicompost or organic manure or any kind of anything, the plant will still be very happy and it will be getting 100% of the nutrition, or maybe 95 or 98% of the nutrition available in soil. Directly it will go to plant. And compared to this, the red soil, you see we put a lot of water and it has been absorbed so quickly. So this soil, if it has 100% of nutrition, the plant will only have only get 5 or 10% of nutrition maybe, and then you need to add a lot of uh, vermicompost, lot of organic manure, and still you cannot see a satisfactory result. Now see, look at my hand. Now if I wash this hand, it will not go away. You see this? You need to rub. You see, it still stays in. So this is the property of a soil which is so important in growing water lilies and lotus. Uh, Now coming back to the nutrition of soil, nutrition to plants, we have seen a lot of queries coming in about the pot in pot method or direct potting, and what is the pot size required to grow water lilies. So let me even uh, take those points also in this video. So amount of soil and amount of space decides your plant growth and their spread. If you grow a water lilies, if you want to grow a water lilies, just take an example. We take a 4-inch pot, inner pot. uh, we are growing water lilies in inner pot outer pot method. So if you are taking a 4-inch pot, inner pot, with clay soil, and we keeping a outer pot of 20-inch in diameter, the amount of nutrition available for soil for plant to grow will not be 20-inch, it will be 4-inch. So the nutrition in 4-inch soil, if is it sufficient for a plant to be very happy for very long? No. In pond they can be very massive, they can be 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, 15 feet. They become very huge. Why? Because they have a lot of space to grow, they have a lot of soil to expand and be happy. But if in such pot with 4-inch pot, with 6-inch pot, you need to have a lot of repotting done, because or else you have to need a lot of manual feeding them on time to time basis, because the nutrition exhaust, and after a while the plant goes into stress and they don't have any nutrition from the soil. So what happens is they think of the survival and they want to be dormant, and then you need to additionally feed them. So there's a lot of fertilizer now. You can use NPK in chit form, and you can use uh, CRF, control release fertilizer. You can also, many people mention them as slow release fertilizer also. You can use them. They are like very small balls of fertilizer with the coating, which is in time release. So there are variants in that, say 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. You can use vermicompost, you can use DAP, you can use a lot of things. And but this manual fertilizing is kind of a very lot of manual work you can do for 1 pot, 2 pot. But if you are growing a lot of pot, 20 pots, you have 30 pots, 40 pots, how many times you will do? So a good inner pot is ideally good for a plant to stay growing for 6 months to 1 year, depend upon how healthy how big the plant is getting. So if you choose a good pot, good inner pot, and give a good outer pot, the plant you need to do less repotting. And if you take a very small inner pot, you need to have frequent repotting, or else you need to have a lot of manual feeding in between. But this still is will not be sufficient, since even if you miss a day or two, even if the plant is in stress for 2 days, again if you feed, like you have 15 days interval to feeding a water lilies. So what happens is you feed this Sunday. Now your calendar says next to next Sunday you will feed again. What happens is the plant is already exhausted on the second week of Wednesday. So for the next 4 days they stays unhappy and in stress. Then again you put them the fertilizer on the next Sunday. What happens is the psychology of plant is in stress. It is in actually very distressed, because they are not happy with the fertilizer. They are actually distressed. Why is the fertilizer is not coming in a sequence? It's not coming in a regular interval. It is coming in an interval where you do not know when the fertilizer is getting exhausted. You are just scheduling as per you feel it should be, but maybe the water is already exhausted before that. So you need to understand the psychology of a plant is completely different. If you it's not like if you have to feed every day or every other day. maybe you can, if you are into a growth period, you can feel hungry the very next day or the third day or the fourth day. And also, if you're not using a good amount of soil, if you're using a red soil, what happens is whatever you put in that soil comes out and leach out in water. So what the plant get is almost nothing, little 5% or 10% of the things. And then they are into more stress. And in this psychology of a plant where they are already in stress, and then you feed and they try to again grow in, and then they feed, plant usually rots in, or they are just exhausted, or they make very big bulbs. That's still an exhausted tuber. So always remember, key of growing a good water lilies is good soil. Second is try to have a good inner pot, and at the potting time itself try to use a lot of organic stuffs. Maybe vermicompost I will recommend. Just ensure your vermicompost is not chemically treated. There are a lot of nurseries, a lot of people who puts a lot of NPK in the vermicompost to enhance their performance, so that when you use the vermicompost you feel that the performance is because of the vermicompost, but it was actually been mixed with NPK or the NPK solution in that, and the result is because of the NPK content in that. So just wash your vermicompost in with water, and then use your vermicompost. See the soil which you use, you need to use a good amount of soil. I guess this is a very long video, it has to be edited now, it is almost 22 minutes. So I hope this is enough for this today, and I hope you have all learned. If you feel that this video is worth it and you feel that you gained some knowledge today, and please do share with the other people who are into water lilies and lotuses who could be benefited with this video. I hope to see you again with the other video on growing water lilies and lotus. Have a good day.